The number 16 UNC Pembroke Braves football team was off last week. We'll preview today's regular season finale in a few minutes. The women's soccer team was the number 2 seed in the Peach Belt Conference tournament and reached the semifinals before falling to North Georgia. 4 Braves were named to the all-conference team, including goalkeeper Gina Ryan, who was named Freshman of the Year. Head coach Lars Anderson was named Co-Coach of the Year. UNCP volleyball earned a win in straight sets against Shaw last week. The team's final match of the season is today at Flagler. The cross-country team concluded its 2016 season at the NCAA Region Championships, where 6 men posted a season-best time in a 7th-place team effort. The women finished 10th, with all 5 runners running their fastest times of the season. UNCP Wrestling hosted the 36th Annual Pembroke Classic last weekend. 13 Braves reached the podium of their respective events, led by Jonathan Miller, Joey DiMartino, and Mikey Thomas, who won their respective tournaments. Basketball season began with the exhibition portion of the schedule for the Braves men and women. The women fell at NC State, while the men dropped contests against North Carolina and Houston. The regular season for both teams begins in the next week, and the Black and Gold Report starts now. Welcome to another episode of the Black and Gold Report presented by Pepsi, a show all about UNC Pembroke athletics. I'm Cameron Songer, and this week we check in with UNCP football before the Braves play their final regular season game. We'll also preview the wrestling team season with head coach O.T. Johnson. But first, it's my pleasure to be joined in studio by UNCP football coach Shane Richardson. Coach, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, Cameron.
It's been a little while since we've talked to you.
Sure has.
You had a bye last week, but let's start by quickly going over the most recent game, which is a 44-14 win at West Virginia State. Now that game is way in the rearview mirror, what stands out to you?
Yeah, I think I was really proud of our guys to go up to Institute, West Virginia, which was a pretty fairly long road trip. Going against a team that had only won 1 game, there was a lot of factors out on the table there that you have to really coach against. And I was really proud of our guys, the way they went up there. They handled what we needed to control. And for 4 quarters, I thought we played a really good game. And there were a couple things that we still need to sharpen up on. I thought we had way too many penalties. We could have been a little bit better in some spots, but for the most part, I was really proud of our football team for closing out that game the way we should have and coming back home with a victory.
The player of the game for the Braves in that one was arguably your kicker, Matt Davis, who broke program records with both a 58-yard field goal and a 78-yard punt in the same game. Talk about the season Matt has had so far.
Matt's been phenomenal, and I really believe that he's one of the best kickers in Division II, and he's got a leg that just continues to show that he's capable of doing more and more every week for us. And it just seems that he continues to focus on what he's supposed to do. He does a great job in practice of preparing himself, and then when he gets in those situations, he's able to really capitalize. And so obviously he's a weapon for us. He's able to kick the ball through the end zone on the kickoffs. He's been great with field goals, and then punting has been really the part that we've been pleasantly surprised with. He started the season off not really in the factor for being our punter, and so he's been great at that. And so obviously Saturday indicated what he's capable of doing there as well.
Your team didn't play last weekend, but it was far from an off week. Talk about what goes on during the bye week and why they're so important.
Yeah, one of the first things that we got to make sure our players understand is it is certainly not an off week, as you said. It is a bye week. There's work to be done. We got to make sure that we're staying focused on what we're supposed to do. We wanted to make sure that we focused on ourselves. We cut practice down a little bit. We made sure that the routine was smart and effective. We wanted to make sure we're getting some work done, but not necessarily killing ourselves. And then we got a natural break over the weekend. And so we worked hard Monday through Friday. We had 3 practices last week. We wanted to make sure that they were kind of flying around, moving around, but we didn't do anything excessive to try to, just save their minds and just their emotions as much as anything else also. I think sometimes in the bye week, you kind of take for granted that you kind of need a mental, emotional refresher just as much as a physical one. And so we tried to really focus on that as well, and came back on Monday and got ready for Concord here this week.
All right, talking about that next game now, it's the final regular season game for the Braves, and it is against Concord. They come to Pembroke Saturday for a 2 p.m. contest. You haven't played the Mountain Lions since 2010. Talk a little about what to expect from that game.
Yeah, I remember 2010, they came down here and they played us very tough, and we lost that game, in fact. I thought they are a very well-coached team. On film, I think they're going to be physical. I think they're offensively, they've got a lot of different stuff that they've got going. We've got to be very assignment sound. We've got to make sure we line up correctly. They've got a lot of options in their offense that could hit us, and if we're not ready, and we fall asleep on some things, they'll take advantage of us. And so we've got to be very assignment sound there. Defensively, I think they do a good job of just doing what they do and sticking to it. And offensively, we're going to have to make sure that we're exploiting the weaknesses that they give us there. And so I anticipate they'll be ready. They have a lot of pride in their program. A few years back, they made, I think, a semifinal run. And so they'll be well coached, they'll be tough, they'll be gritty, and I expect that they'll be ready for us on Saturday.
All right, we need to take our first time out, but we'll be back right after this on the Black and Gold Report.
Braves fans, season tickets for the 2016-17 home basketball season are on sale now, and premium chairback seats for the Peach Belt Conference's most electric environment can be purchased for as little as $70. This season's package includes 14 men's games and 13 women's games and can be purchased by calling 910-521-6361 or visiting uncpbraves.com/tickets.
Welcome back to the Black and Gold Report. I'm Cameron Songer, joined once again by UNCP football coach Shane Richardson. Coach, we talked a little bit about this final regular season game against Concord. It's the senior day here for UNC Pembroke on Saturday. You'll recognize the 14-member senior class before the game. Talk a little about what they've meant to the program and getting it to where it is today.
I've been really proud of them. You look back 2 years ago when I first became the head coach, and we had a 2-8 season, and that was tough. And they were there for that, and they endured that, and they were the ones that started to build the foundation of what we're doing now. And they were able to go through. Last year, we went 6-4, and we were able to start making a push and be able to start just implementing and embracing a lot more of the program philosophy and understanding the structure and just the accountability that goes along with our system. And so this year they've obviously been able to really step up into playing a great role and leading the charge on what we're doing here. And so really proud of those guys, a lot of really good players on the field. We've got 3 of the seniors that are our captains this year, Elijah Williams, BJ Bunn, and Marquin Hill. And so, that's been also good. And so we're losing a lot of leadership, a lot of experience, and a lot of production on the field. And so we're going to miss that group, and I think they've done a fantastic job this year for us.
Adding to the atmosphere on Saturday is that the Braves are ranked number 16 in the nation and are regionally ranked as well. What's at stake in this final regular season game, and how does it affect your mindset?
Yeah, I think what we try to do is we try to stay with the same message all throughout the season, and we're not changing. We're focused on ourselves. It's how we play, not who we play. And we want to make sure that we're playing our best this play. And so with that, we got to make sure that we don't get too excited, too ahead of ourselves in trying to look after Saturday what could be. And so our biggest focus needs to be on Concord, definitely what we need to do Monday through Friday to prepare for Concord. And so that is the message that's hammered home. I want to make sure that we just keep it in perspective. Obviously, there's some post-season implications here, and so we don't want to be naive of that either. And so what we do is we try to just do a good job of coaching that into our guys and let them understand the difference and making sure that we keep the main things, and we try to make sure that the priority is us and what we got to do here Monday through Friday and taking care of business on Saturday. And then after that, we'll see what shakes out.
Your team is regionally ranked in line to make the regional playoffs. Talk about how the regional ranking process works and how it all shakes out.
Yeah, that's an interesting process. And in Division II, what takes place is there's 4 super regions around the country. And we're part of super region number 2. And what happens is there's 10 teams out of each of those regions that are ranked. And so the top 7 of those teams, excuse me, they will be the ones that will go to the playoffs. And so right now, there's a lot of jockeying for position between those top 10 in each of those 4 regions. With that being said, there's a couple different formulas and equations that go into it, such as your strength of schedule, your opponent's win percentage, your in-region wins, your Division II wins. There's a lot of little different factors that kind of go into that. And then at the end of the day, there's a committee that also sees, hey, what is this team doing? And I think the teams that peak towards the end of the season obviously have a little bit more favor to them, and I think that the committee actually recognizes that, and so we want to make sure we're coming down the stretch here at our best and opening some eyes so that they can say, hey, that's one of the top 7 best teams in the region. They deserve a postseason consideration, and hopefully we'll be able to take care of business Saturday so we can have that opportunity.
Your team with just 1 loss right now, certainly in the mix of those teams that are jockeying for position, and the top 3 or 4 teams in the region get to host in the early rounds. How much do you pay attention to what the other teams in the region are doing down the home stretch?
Yeah, at this point in time, I think it's important for me as the head coach to have an idea of what's going on. The number 1 team will actually get a bye, and then 2 will play 7, 3 will play 6, and 4 will play 5, and so 2, 3, and 4 will all have home games. And so, it's interesting to just try to speculate a little bit, although I try not to do that, but it's certainly important to make sure you stay aware of what teams are in the mix there and who you could face. In the coaching network, you know so many guys, and so there's some crossover, carryover of contacts and that type of thing. But when it comes Sunday after Saturday here after the game, we'll all know, and that's really the time when everybody will be exposed to see what the pairings actually look like. And so we're excited to play on Saturday. We've got to make sure we take care of business, and hopefully it leads to even brighter things for the future of this season as well.
Coach Shane Richardson, good luck on Saturday. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Cameron.
Stay tuned to the Black and Gold Report, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.